Hi everyone, Dr. Karen here. We are talking about engagement and burnout. And so the question I got asked this week was, Dr. Karen, how do I get my team engaged while dealing with unprecedented burnout and short staffing? Can you relate to this? So whether or not you are an entrepreneur, you're professional, maybe you're part of a team, maybe you're a practice owner, maybe you are a new manager, maybe you're an employee going, yeah, I am experiencing a little bit of burnout. Like what's the solution here? This video is for you. I'm going to give you 3 action steps. Okay. 3 things to really help. And I love this topic because this topic marries the 3 areas of our specialty. So if we haven't met, my name is Dr. Karen. I've been doing this for a long, long time. And the 3 areas of specialty that we work with when we're working with teams, with organizations and families, is helping people in their business achieve their business goals, their relationships, both at work with their clients and their family, and also their well-being. Those are the 3 areas, those 3 buckets that we really specialize in, which has made us very unique because we have specialties in all 3 of these. And this topic is really amazing because it impacts all of it. Let's be honest. If you are a practice owner and you have got teams that are not engaged, and now you've got a retention problem, and that's in your relationship bucket, that is definitely going to impact the mental health, the wellness, and that's definitely going to impact your bottom line. So, these are 3 different areas, 3 buckets that are highly interconnected. So it is very important that we actually understand what exactly we need to do to really improve this. So let's dive in. I love it. And I love action steps. I love to kind of teach theory and teach the science to it, but I always really want to make sure that you've got practical action steps. If you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe so you get notified when other videos come out. All right, so the first thing that I really encourage everybody to do, and again, this is regardless whether or not in terms of what your position is. And for those of you who are parents, I loved a lot of this is applicable on the family side as well. And you're going to see that as we actually kind of go through it. So the first thing is I want to just share with you a couple of little pieces of data and science. Okay, so we're just going to start there. First thing is, and this is probably not going to surprise any of us, 77% of people have experienced burnout at some point. 77, okay, that's a crazy number. 77%. So that is one stat. This stat comes out of, this is from Yale. If you haven't picked up my book, The 3 Chairs, How Great Leaders Drive Communication, Performance, and Engagement, you can get it off of Amazon. I'm reading from page 115. This piece of research came out of Yale Center of Emotional Intelligence. This is interesting. Found 1 in 5 highly engaged workers experience some kind of burnout. So a lot of times we think of somebody who has burnout is that they're not functioning. That's actually not true. You can actually have a very highly engaged, it could be a senior leader, it could be a CEO, maybe if it's even you. So somebody that who is fully on to the outside, to the world, to their clients, to their patients, they actually look like they're functioning, and they are functioning, but they are actually experiencing burnout. Okay, so this is a huge issue. So how do we help our team be engaged while we're also trying to deal with this? Well, the beautiful thing is the same solution applies to both of them. Okay, you're gonna love this. I love to take a lot of science. I love to simplify it. Let's make it really practical so people know what actually to do. I often think that there's so much great research that's out there, but what's missing is the application of that research. That's what we like to do. That's our secret sauce as a company. We take the science, but we break it down and simplify it so it's really easy for people. So here we go. For 3 steps, everybody. First one is you have to really understand with what people need. Okay, so again, regardless, let's assume that you're managing some kind of a small team or large team. Like I said, you're going to be able to apply this to your family life as well. But let's just focus for a second more on the business side. So you've got a team. Tip 1 is you have to understand, what do people need? Okay, if we don't understand people, forget the rest of it. This is actually a fun comment, because a lot of the entrepreneurs that we work with, that I particularly work with and coach, they'll say to me, I have the entrepreneurs say this all to me, Karen, I love the vision part, I love the strategy part. What I don't like is the managing people. I don't like to manage people. I just want my HR to do that. I want somebody else to do that. And so there's a lot of visionaries, a lot of entrepreneurs where they really love the business side, the strategy side, but they don't love the people side. The problem is that we need people to achieve the vision. You're not going to get the one without the other. So we do have to understand the people side. So let me decode it for you. Okay. The people side is not that difficult. Okay. I've been doing this for over 25 years. I understand people inside and out. I also had to learn and understand myself. I have to kind of learn those around me. And so although our culture has changed, people by nature, I find, are actually quite consistent. There's just certain things that people need. Okay. And so the secret sauce to this is we have to understand what people need. So to simplify it, I want you, if you've got my book, you can turn to page, what page am I on? Let's see, bear with me here for a second. I had it already, and then we started the video. Okay, so you can turn to page 125. Okay, if you've got my book, you can turn to page 125. Okay, and if not, then I'm going to just kind of give you the simplified version. So essentially, there are 6 things that people need, okay, for them to be engaged. And I've talked about this in the other videos, but I'm just going to kind of give a quick summary. There are 6 things for people that people need to be engaged. And these 6 things you certainly can apply at a company level, a team level, and also as a family level. But here are the 6 things that people need, okay? This is really important that we're going to tie it together with engagement and burnout. 6 things people need. Number 1, purpose. They need to know purpose. They need to know why, what they're doing. We'll talk about it from a business standpoint for a second. Why is what they're doing? Why does it matter? Especially the younger generations. They care about purpose. What is the purpose of their job? Okay, purpose is number 1. Number 2 is a career path, professional or a career path. Okay, so this is the second one. So if you got it, your team members, they want to know, especially the younger generations, what is their professional, their career path within your organization. So let's say you're a small team. Let's say you're a small practice of 20, 30 people. They might be like, I don't really know if there's a lot of opportunity here for me. They might be kind of thinking that. So you've got to really show them there's opportunity. And so the second one is professional and career path. They need to kind of see where is the opportunities here within your organization. Number 3 is profit. People want to make sure that they're paid fairly. Okay. So profit is the third one. Fourth one is people. And I talk about this in a lot of other videos. A lot of people will actually stay in an office, a job, as long as they've got a really great relationship with their manager and their team, they're more likely to stay. So if you've got a retention problem, one of the first things actually I get organizations to look at is look at the dynamics with your manager or your office manager, and their ability to really cultivate a great culture, because a lot of people will stay if they've got a good relationship with their manager, and they're going to leave if they don't. Okay, so the fourth one is the people. The fifth one is play. Now you might be thinking, what, Karen, why are we talking about play in terms of like engagement and burnout? Like, how does this all? Because great organizations that have very high engagement, they actually have fun together. There's a real social glue that happens with engagement with teams. So ask yourself, how much play are you actually having? And in my book, I give examples. I give lots of examples on what companies are doing according to these 6 Ps. The sixth one, and this is how it all kind of ties in, is your physical and emotional well-being. So what do you do as a company to make sure that you are honoring people's physical and emotional well-being? Do you have boundaries set up? Do you have people can't email past a certain hours? Do you respect people's time off? What do you do to kind of try to encourage physical and emotional well-being? Okay, so these are the 6. So every business, entrepreneur, organization, you want to kind of really look at those 6 things. And how are we doing? Again, the book kind of gives you some examples, but that is a really important, a good place to start. Okay, that's a good kind of place to start. Second step, everybody, is now you want to understand the correlation between the 6 Ps and specifically burnout and retention. Okay, so now we're going to kind of unpack that a little bit. For this, I've got a fabulous tool for you on self-care and how that actually impacts burnout. So if you have not received that yet, below, say self-care, and somebody from our team will actually send that to you. It's free, and it's a great like scorecard that you can actually help yourself measure your self-care. But I also encourage you to do this with your team. So this is a great action step. Okay, again, these YouTube videos are great and they can be insightful, but where we really create change is through action. So I don't want you just to listen and watch this. I want you to be like, okay, that's great. Get out your pen and paper. You're taking notes, and now you're taking action. That's where we're actually going to create change. So that is the action step I want you to do. The action step is write self-care below. Somebody from our team will send that to you. You can print that. You can do it for yourself, and then you can also do it with your team. Okay, your team, your clients. You can also do it with your kids. It's the same scorecard. Okay, I've got twins that are 17, and a lot of these scorecards that we use and we teach, you can actually use the same ones for your family. So the second step, okay, after you've done this, the self-care, you've written that, you're going to get that back. The second step is really understand the correlation, like I said, between the 6 P's, burnout, and specifically retention. So, in the first step, I talked about the 6 P's and how physical and emotional well-being is one of them. Okay, this is where the second step comes in, is that if we are not, as a business owner, as a practice owner, as an entrepreneur, as a manager, okay, as even a parent, if we are not trying to encourage our team to set boundaries, to prioritize their self-care, to prioritize their physical and emotional well-being, if we're not encouraging it, if we're not modeling it, maybe if we're sabotaging, forget it. If you're sabotaging that 6P, you're going to have a massive problem. Okay. But if you're not teaching it, you're not modeling it, you're not encouraging it, then a lot of people, they don't know how to set boundaries. They don't know how to say no. They start taking on all these different jobs, and then they burn out, and all of a sudden they just don't show up. And so it's really important that you talk about this, that you model this, that you try to actually create policies within the office to encourage this. You can create boundaries at home in terms of how to encourage this and set this up, because when you help people understand this is important, we want to encourage this, and then that kind of gives people almost a place of courage and peace to then kind of be in alignment. So, for example, one of the managers that we worked with, he saw that his team was really struggling with burnout. He had a lot of people pleasers on his team. And so the first thing I said, well, are you modeling physical and emotional well-being? He said, no. Then I said, that's your first step. You got to start modeling it, because any high performer, okay, so whether or not you're in accounting or law and you're medicine, you're like in business, whatever your professional background, high performers really need to zone in on this, because if they don't zone in on this and they don't really start setting boundaries, they will burn out, and then they're of no use to anybody. So it's really important that you're prioritized. So that was the first thing I said. Are you modeling it? No. Then that's kind of your first step. Number 2, start talking about this. Start talking about the 6 P's. Talk about it with your team. And then third one is start talking about the boundaries and policies as a team you can do to encourage each other towards physical and emotional well-being. So what are, during your next team meeting, talk about your wins, talk about the success wins that you're having on your physical and emotional well-being. What are boundaries people setting up? What exercise are they doing? How are people doing with their sleep, their nutrition? Are some people doing like marathons, or doing fasting programs, or doing gratitudes and meditation? Like, what are people doing to really honor that part? Talk about it. You might be thinking, but Karen, that's getting a little bit too personal. I have managers tell me that it's getting a little bit too personal. One of the things that's really important, I talk about this in the book, is great teams, great companies, they deeply care for their team. So yes, we want to achieve the business goals. Of course, it's a business, or it's a nonprofit, or it's an organization. Of course, we want to achieve those goals. But if you can really put more focus on your people and caring for your people, they will have so much loyalty for you. And a lot of employees, trust me, we work with organizations all around the world. A lot of them want to please their managers or the people that they work with, but they want to make sure that they're really being cared for. So you want to be talking about this, and obviously in a professional context, you can talk about it and really be encouraging people to prioritize their physical well-being and talk about what are the things that they're actually doing to help inspire that. Okay, so that's the second step. And again, get the self-care scorecard, write down self-care below. And that's a great action step. That's a great kind of like baby step of like, I don't even really know how to bring this up with my team. Great. Just say I was watching a YouTube video. The speaker was talking about this, and this is what she says the action step. Okay, so that's kind of leads us to a third step, which is take action. So, it's again great for you to learn this. It's great for you to understand all the content and the theory, but I really want you to take action. So you learn, you discuss, you think, you reflect, you discuss with other people, and now you take action. So after you've done the scorecard on self-care, what are the parts are you doing really well? What are the parts that you actually need to work on? And then what's the action step that you're going to do, both as a business owner, as a professional, but also maybe even as a parent or as an adult. This is something that's huge. As an entrepreneur, I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. I talk about this with my team. So when my team says, Karen, I want to take some extra holiday, great. How can I support you in that? Like, really, I am very big into trying to, obviously there are business goals that have to get done. And sometimes we have to kind of get creative with scheduling. We have a small team. So sometimes we have to kind of get creative and people have to kind of swap times and all of that. But I consistently try to tell my team, listen, I care about your well-being. I want you to prioritize your family and your family and your boundaries. The work can come. We'll figure that piece out. And we have phenomenal retention. It's, these two things are very interconnected. Okay. So we try to model it. We try to teach it. We try to encourage our team to actually take action with that. So that's kind of the action steps that you want to do. But talk about it. Like, what are the action steps that you can do as a practice owner, a business owner, a manager, a parent? What can you do? And then what are the things maybe you could actually inspire those kind of around you? Whether or not it's not working at night, whether or not it's not responding to email past 8:00, whether or not it's starting to learn to say no to things that are not important, whether or not it's actually learning to delegate. Like the self-care scorecard will kind of give you lots of ideas, but the idea is get that data and then think to yourself, what is my action step? What is the one thing I'm going to do the next 3 weeks to really dial in and up my well-being and my self-care? Because when you increase that, you are going to get a more engaged employee and you're going to get lower retention. It's all interconnected. Okay, so grab the self-care scorecard. If you want more info, you can grab the book, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if there's a topic that you would like me to cover, let us know. Write it below, and all that data comes back to me. And that's how we create these videos. I want this to be super helpful for you, and want to make sure that we're dealing with content that really connects, that is relevant for you. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you at the next video.